Hi everybody, Nigel here with you. Right, we've got another review for you today, and it's related to this. If you remember, many moons ago I reviewed and started two of these, and they went back on the shelf, and I really should get them back out because they are beautiful models. And one of them, the US Navy one, had a lot of extra detail put into it, scratch built, and it's starting to look absolutely gorgeous. I also made, if you remember, the engine cores, the fuel tanks, and I also did some of the rocker covers as well, which I don't do anymore. But if you still got one of these and you want one of the engine cores or the fuel tanks, then drop me a line, nigelsmodelinbench@gmail.com. So basically, if you've got this kit, then you'll know that it's got lovely instructions. It goes together beautifully, not really much in any way of any issues in it. And you get four options. You get the you got this one here, which is Paper Doll, which is the box cover one with the lovely growly face on it. USS Princeton, October 44. And then you also get this one here, USS Randolph, CV-15, May 45. You also get the FAA, okay, so in the nice brown and yeah, whatever it is, matte olive drab and dark sea grey with the sky underside. And you also get the French one again in the gloss blue. Now, obviously, to do all this with all the countless stencils that are on here, when Sven makes a set at One Man Army, he has to choose between, you know, do I put all the stencils in and some of the liveries, or do I put all the liveries in and all the stencils? And when you look at the the work that goes into it, the cost becomes prohibitive. So what he's done is done the American versions in here, and he's also done all the stencil data. And as you can see, there is a lot of it, especially on an aircraft this big. There's a lot of stencil data going in. So this is the set here. It's pretty new. It's available now on pre-order at no, it's actually available in stock at Hannant's. And the reference is 24DT017, and the company is called One Man Army. If you do a search in Hannant's for his products, he's actually top of the list. If you go manufacturers, it's the first one on there, One Man Army. So yeah, this is again a lovely set that's going to do all your stencils and your livery for the US versions. It's also very well designed and very well thought out, because you can imagine getting this face with the eyes and the teeth and everything, and getting these stars and bars which are frameless. You know, it takes quite a lot of thought, and I think he's thought it out beautifully. There's a couple of things I need to cover, a couple of caveats which we'll cover near the end. But other than that, it's beautiful little set, beautiful. So as you can see, normal thing, we've got the 2 sheets of mask. Sometimes you get 3. This time we've got 2. We've got the general user manual, which I'll go over again, which I do in all the videos. I'll do it near the end so you can fast forward if you already know. If you want to see these actually being used, not these, but the ones for the Qatari Spitfire, Zinzan modelling, Zinzan scale modelling, go take a look at his channel. If I remember, I'll put a link down below. If I forget, please tell me. And you can go and actually see him using them. A couple of things he's doing I'm not really sure about, like putting the mask on the back of his hand and then putting them on the model. That's fine with masking tape, but when you've got these fine little stencil masks, I fear it's going to damage them. But you know, he's doing a fine job of it, so I'll leave him alone. So basically, as you can see, we've got all the stencil data here on the upper wing. We've got all the stencil data on the lower wing, and there's lots of it. And then we've got all the stencil data around here and on the sides, around the tail and everything, and on the tail planes as well. So it's all very good. And the beauty of using these, you've got the decal sheet, okay, and it's a big old decal sheet, and it's cartograph, so the decals are going to go down lovely. But the thing is, when you've got massive decals like these, you see all that carrier film on there. If I can catch it in the light, see all that carrier film? You don't really want that on a big model like this, especially with all the rivets and everything. And it's big old roundels and stuff. It's so much better. I mean, saying that, you don't get these roundels here. You don't get any of this in the kit. You only get this in the set. You don't get any interior stenciling either. Only the exterior stuff. But you know, you can see on Paper Doll there, we've got quite a lot of carrier film here. You can see the carrier film on there between all the letters. So you know, with models like this, it's good to sort of use masks and paint them on if you can. Also, you can use bleached colours, so you can take it down a bit, you can make it a bit darker, make it a bit lighter, you can put varying shades of colour in there, you can sand it back. I know you can sand decals, but when you sand paint it's a lot more realistic than sanding a decal. So yeah, I really think these things are worth it, and I really do need to build one of my models using these because I want to give them a go. I've done a few experiments and tests that you've all seen, but I want to sort of really give it a go. So you can see on here, in the back of here, we've got the special instructions. So we've got underside wing, topside wing, fuselage both sides, aircraft serial numbers, and you can see in here the special notes are weed and use transfer tape. Okay, now weeding, in fact, I'll go through that at the end of the review. At the moment, what we'll do is we'll actually look at what you're getting in the set. So here you can see on this first sheet, we've got stars and bars here. You can see it's always difficult to do a review on a masking set because it's nigh on impossible to show you. You can see there we've got the stars and bars. You can see we've got the F6F-5, and then we've got the navy up there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 4, 5, 6 for the, we've probably got another 1, 2, 3 somewhere. No, that's an X. Wherever you see a mask with an X, so for example in front of that 4, 5, 6 just below my finger, and then we've got another one, I saw one else somewhere else here. You've got an L1X there, you've got an L1BX there, L2X. Wherever you see an X, that's a spare for you to practice with, which I think is a brilliant idea. So you can practice with that first, and if it all goes good, then great, you can leave it. If it goes wrong, you can paint over it and try again, or you can do that on a piece of scrap paper or another model or anything like that. But as you can see across here, we've got all these stencils, all very, very fine, tiny stencils, and they're absolutely beautiful. You can see that there's lots of X's for you to practice with, and as I've covered on every video I do with these, I would always recommend you come along with a knife, you pick up the left hand lower corner of the mask, put a piece of masking tape under there so it doesn't stick down, and then you've always got that left hand corner just to lift off. Grab it with a pair of tweezers, off it comes. Because one of the biggest problems, as we all know, with removing window masks is getting the masks off without scratching the paint underneath. So if you do that, you can just pick it off easily. It's great. So here you can see we've got spares of the VF27, we've got spares of the VF12, and over here you can see the mouth. If I can catch it, like you see the mouth there with the teeth. Okay, and then you've got the 32 there, massive 32 for the VF12. And on the second sheet here we've got more of the stars and bars. Okay, we've got paper dot up there, as you can see, is just one mask. So what you would do with that is weed it and then put your transfer tape over the top. In fact, I'll show you in a minute how you would do that, and then you'll be away to go. You've got your eyes down here for the VF27. Okay, and there's a spare there as well. So basically what you do is you would put this on in the position you want it. You'd use transfer tape so it all stays together. Put it on in the position you want it. Okay, get that on there, and then come along with this one here, the frame. Put the frame in place, or you could put the frame in place first, and then you'd remove this. Okay, spray the area white, and then put this one back in and spray the area black. Or you could put this one in position, spray the area white, put that one inside it, remove that bit there, spray black for the eye. There's always more than one way you can use these, and it's we've got some more up there for the eyes look as well. So there's always more than one way you can use these, and you can have a good look. You can see on here you've got the black surround, and that's what that's for. So there we go. We've also got stencils for bombs. I'll cover that in a minute. If you look on the back of the instructions, what Sven's telling you to do here, where you've got Engineer R. Burrell, or Burnell, what he's saying is weed the rectangles and use transfer tape only on the rectangles, paint white. So you've got this one over here, you can see you've got a spare with 2 blocks in it. Okay, so you would basically take that one off, only use transfer tape over the squares, remove the transfer tape, paint it all white. And then he's saying add the flags and paint red. Well, the thing is, he hasn't put the flags in. The reason being, they were so unstable it was impossible to keep it all straight when it's removed because it was so fine. So what he's done, he obviously had these printed before he did the finalised version of the masks. So he's put some extras in with the bombs and stuff. So so that's what we've got there. So we have got some bomb stencils here, some more bomb stencils there. But looking at the eyes, okay, I've got them. I've had a good look. Right, so start again. With the eyes, the way I would do this is put some transfer tape over here to keep it together and position this on the model where you want your eyes to end up. Or use this frame here. So this frame will fit precisely around this. Okay, so you can put that frame in place or put that in place, then lay that over it and remove that. Spray white, put that one in place, okay, and then remove that bit and spray your black. And then you remove that one and you put this one inside it and mask off that area that's covered with that tape, and that will give you your line around the outside. It's the same as doing the mouth. The first thing you do is this one here, which is the shape of the mouth. You put that on first, okay, then you put the surround around the outside. So you get your mouth where you want it to be, then you put the surround around the outside. Remove that one, spray it white, fit the teeth, remove the actual teeth part, spray it red. Sorry, leave the teeth in place, remove the other part, spray it red, and then you remove this and then put this one here in, L1, and then that does the border. And you can see on there, if we look at this one, R1B and R1, you can see the gap between them, and that is actually how you're going to put it in. You get a gap with the border. So it should all work out lovely for you, but you've got spares there to play with as well. So it's the same. It's going to be quite complex doing the eyes and that, but you can imagine the finished effect is going to be amazing. And with these, you always sort of use really thin paint and you spray it dry. And the other thing I recommend is coming out angles, especially on your stencils, so that you get paint into all the corners. Because you can imagine going over a stencil, if you spray just on an angle like that, you'll get a soft edge here and a hard edge there. But you must keep it dry. You must not let the mask get wet. If you start to get wet, that's when you start to get seepage. That's the same with any masking, not just these. So there we go. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely set. But when he talks about weeding, I'll show you what he means. Just want to make sure I don't ruin the one I don't want to use. Okay, so we've got this spare VF12 here. So you'd come in, I've got my Anise Super Precision tweezers here, which are amazing. So you come in here, and then what you do is I might mess this up a bit because I'm doing it up in the air. I would normally do it on the bench under a magnifier. So what you do is you pick out the V, like so. Make sure that center stays down. I mean, obviously, as I say, normally you'll be doing this on the bench with a magnifier. Pick out the F, like so. Pick out the dash. Pick out the 1. You can see how good these tweezers are now. Pick out the 1. Pick out the 12. The 2, sorry. Okay, so we've got the 2. Yep. So that's that done. Then what I'm going to do is lift the bottom left hand corner, and I'm going to get a little piece of masking tape which I've got over here, which is sat on the side of the bench, which is dead handy. I'm just going to cut a little corner off it with a blunt blade. Okay, that's bigger than you need, and I'm just going to slot that underneath, just like so. That's far bigger than you need. But now basically I've got a tab to lift the mask off with, so I don't have to worry about damaging it. Now with my transfer tape, I've just got here a piece of 6mm Tamiya tape, okay, and I'm just going to put this over the top without going on to any other masks. If you go on to any other masks, you'll lift them as well. So the transfer tape is on there, give it a rub, and then I can lift this up all together, okay, and then I can place that on my model, which happens to be one of my Camel's spare wheels. Here we are. Okay, so I can place that on there, Alright, so that's on there now. Now, because the tape to tape is weaker than the tape to the model, it won't damage the mask when I pull the transfer tape off. So you can see there we now have the F12 masked off. So what I would do then is come along with some additional masking, mask around that mask, just like so, and then we're good to go, and we're ready just to spray our VF12. So we basically get the airbrush with the white, off-white, whatever we're going to use, and just come in and very, very lightly build it up. And I would thoroughly recommend, for this, I would recommend this MRP Fine Surface Primer White. It's absolutely awesome. It's not at all grainy. We all know how Tamiya XF2 is quite grainy. Even LPs can be a little grainy, but I find that stuff to be absolutely amazing. So that's what I'd recommend. And as I say, build it up slowly, don't let it get wet. And then, and as I said earlier, we've got this tab, and the beauty of that is, I took that off far too fast then, I'll show you in a minute how you should do it. But the beauty of that is when we got the mask down, if say the mask is over here, okay, rather than trying to pick it off like this without damaging the paint, we just lift up that tab and pull it off. When you do peel them off, the correct way to do it is very slowly and kind of roll them off very slowly. And as you can see, that one we could probably use again. I mean, that's how they are, quite tough to be honest, but there are lots and lots of precaution notes. Now, transfer tape is 100% necessary for many of the let me see if I can get this back on here. It's got no stick left in it, it's got paint dust on it, but there we go. Transfer tape is very necessary. Like, for example, okay, if you look at the user guide, it shows you here on number 3. So you would first weed it. We've got the tape under the corner there, look. We'd weed it, take out the 3, put the transfer tape on the top, position it on our model. Okay, you can see we've got a center marked up there. We can mark a center on the model where we want it to go. Position it on the model, remove the transfer tape, and there's your mask. If you don't use the transfer tape, the 3 will go all out of shape. It keeps the shape. And the same down here. Transfer tape keeps the circle, transfer tape keeps the star. Remove it all, you've got it all together. So basically what you would do here is you would put this down, okay, spray it white, put that down, take the transfer tape off, spray that dark blue or whatever it's going to be. It might be a red star or whatever. Just, that's how it's going to be, okay. So for instance here, when he's talking about doing the underside, topside, fuselage sides, it's this unusual kind of, it's not unusual, but normally they've got a frame around them, haven't they? But you've just got these blocks. So keeping those together is going to be a nightmare. So what you do, you have this, you don't have one there. You have this one here. You have 5 of these 1TR. Okay? And what you'll do is you take these off. Coffee fit then. So you take these off and you use these as the transfer tape. So what he's done is given you the correctly shaped, if I can catch it in the light, you can see you've got this rough sort of star and bar shape here. So what you're going to do, you're going to weed this out of here. So you're going to weed out those 2 blocks, weed out the star. You're going to put this tape over the top, neatly within there to cover everything. Peel that off, put it on your model, okay? And then when you peel the transfer tape away, you leave this mask here behind. This mask here you'll leave behind. So you can spray the block, the star, and that in white. So you basically paint your model first. Or you could do it the other way around. Paint the area white, use the transfer, take off the outer frame, yeah, use the transfer tape to pick up the star and the 2 blocks. And then when you remove the transfer tape, you'll have the star and 2 blocks mask in the white, and then you can paint your model blue. Personally, I see no difference, but I would rather do it the other way around. I'd rather put the white on afterwards. But then you can get a better intensity white without going over the blue first, can't you? But then maybe they didn't get a really deep intensity white because they had to paint it over the blue. Who knows? Do your references. But there we go. So I think this is a lovely set, and I think it's going to look absolutely amazing. And I think, why do we model? We model because we enjoy it. Some people model for the finished outcome. Some people just model so they can get to the painting stage. I personally prefer the modeling rather than the painting stage. But basically, I mean, stuff like this is going to be absolutely amazing. You can look at the model and know they're painted on. I think that would be great. And then you can sort of chip it and scratch it and everything. And yes, I know you can chip and scratch decals, but I think this is going to look much better. And you can choose your colours and whatever, which is great when you're doing RAF stuff, because we all know how many kit manufacturers get RAF rounder colours wrong. So there we go, guys. That has been a review of the Grumman F6F-5 Hellcat from Airfix in 1/24 scale, one-man army, masks and stencil set. So well worth getting, well worth trying, and what you need to do now is nag me to get my Hellcat done so that I can actually try them out on there, because they look like quite a lot of fun. And I think, to be honest, if you are doing one of these Hellcats, I would be tempted to paint the cowling and do the mouth and the teeth and the eyes before you put the cowling on. It'd be much easier to have it sort of onto the top of a aerosol, a hairspray bottle or something like that, and just have it in front of you working rather than try and work on the whole model. I think that would be easier. But you've got lots of spares there to test with. And the other thing to remember also is when it comes to doing the mouth, you've also got to mask off around this edge here, because the intake around there is all red, and you've also got a tooth in there you need to mask off. So use your references, because I'm not sure this is correct. I'm not sure that tooth was dead center, but check your references and have a look. So there we go, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Any questions, stick them down below. And as I say, if you want to see these in use and see how they work, then go and have a look at Zinzan's channel. And if you want to get one of these sets and you're in the UK, then go to Hannant's, look at One Man Army. He's got quite a big range and it's growing every week. I've got another new one here to show you, which I'll put up probably in the next week or two. So I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.